All right, obviously, like I said last night, disappointing performance up in Charlotte. Got to play better, got to coach better. Like we said, faced all kinds of adversity, kind of the perfect storm of what couldn't happened with the injuries at the offensive tackle position and the defensive back position at safety early in the game. So that was really tough, but, I was proud of our guys. They battled their butts off and played hard throughout the game. The effort certainly wasn't the question. They stayed together throughout the game. We talked about when adversity hit, and we knew it would at some point, that we needed to come together, and we did. With as bad as it looked at times and as inconsistent as it was at times, we had a chance to win the game in the fourth quarter. We had 3 different possessions in the fourth quarter where we had a 1st and 10 on the 22-yard line going into score. On another possession in the fourth quarter, we had a 1st and 10 on the 16-yard line with a chance to score. And on another possession in the fourth quarter, we had a 1st and 10 on the 11-yard line with a chance to score. And those 3 possessions, we came out of it with a total of 3 points. So you convert those to 2 touchdowns and a field goal, which we got to be able to finish drives in the red zone. We're feeling a whole lot different about things. So critical play there was the intentional grounding on one of those possessions. We had a bust on the offensive line, but we got 2 guys running wide open that Spencer's about to throw a touchdown to. Take your pick. And again, you can say that in every game, and we got to do a better job. I'm optimistic moving forward. Knew we were going to go through some growing pains, and then when you compound that with the injuries we dealt with last night, it makes it even tougher. We had 19 players that played in their first game or played meaningful snaps for the first time ever in a South Carolina uniform, either on offense, on defense, or as a starter on special teams. And I don't count Stone Blanton in that because Stone played for us last year, but then he started last night and played every snap. So 19 total players playing in their first game. 13 of those guys were on offense or defense alone. So those guys will continue to get better. Guys like, older guys like Nick Gargiulo and Sidney Fugar is their first time playing at this level. And then freshmen that came in last night like Jalen Kilgore that will continue to get better. So looking back on it, we lost way too many just one-on-one opportunities, whether it be offensive lineman versus defensive lineman versus offensive lineman, our running back versus their linebacker in the open field and being able to make somebody miss. We just lost too many one-on-one battles, but I'm pleased and excited for the future as we move forward here. We got to be a whole lot better this week. There's no question about it. Looking at it as a staff, guys that we thought played really, really well and gave us a chance to win offensively were Spencer Rattler. When you don't turn the ball over and your quarterback goes, I think he was 30 of 39, you would think you're going to win the game. No turnovers, which a lot's been made of that. And he was 30 of 39. Kid played his butt off. Xavier Leggett offensively, and then Luke Doty offensively were the 3 guys as a staff that we felt like played well and needed to be singled out. Defensively, Stone Blanton and Debo Williams, they played every play at linebacker. O'Donnell Fortune came in as the starter, did an awesome job, not just in coverage, but with his physicality in the run game. And Jalen Kilgore, he's a big-time player, and he showed that last night. So we had gone into last night thinking he may play a few plays here and there, and he ended up playing basically the entire game. And he will continue to get better as the year goes. And then on special teams, Mitch Jeter, and then it's no coincidence, 2 guys that played great on offense or defense were 2 of our best players on special teams last night, Xavier Leggett and O'Donnell Fortune. So, got a lot to get better at, but we will. And we got a group that, again, last night when things weren't looking good, they stayed together and the effort stayed really, really high. So I'm proud of them from that standpoint. Injury-wise, we're beat up, to say the least. Guys that didn't finish the game last night were Nicky Manwari, I would say he is questionable this week. Juice Wells, I would say, is questionable this week. Kason Henry will be out this week. He's probably going to be out for a while. And Mo Kaba will be out for a while. And out of respect for him, I'll comment more on that as we get into the week. as well. So had some critical injuries last night. That was evident, and we have to overcome it. And got a young team that has to continue to get better, and they will. Questions?
Hey, Shane, it's Dave. I mean, first games are first games, but after watching the film of the offensive line last night, where are you on the scale of, making drastic changes or switches, or just to stick with what you got so we got to coach these guys up a little more?
I would say it's a combination of both. We got to coach them up, and there were some things last night that were technique errors, no question about it. There were things that just getting beat one-on-one errors, and then the disappointing thing were there were a lot of mental errors, and some of those mental errors came from our older guys, which was disappointing. So we're always about competition. We certainly have to get better as the year goes. I've said that a million times, and I will continue to. And that means our older guys have to continue to get better, but our younger guys have to continue to get better. And our younger guys continue to practice the right way and give us a chance to be successful. We will get them in the game and then give them an opportunity without a doubt. And but it's up to them. I mean, we got to practice the right way also. So there's competition all across the board, and I know you guys get fired up about the depth chart. That depth chart, like I tell you, is just it's in pencil, and it changes every single day around here. And if a guy's not giving us the best chance to be successful and somebody else is, we'll get him in there and may have to live with some growing pains, but that's part of it.
Hey, Shane, it's Hale. Just sticking with the offensive line. How many of those sacks are, I guess you're not trying to ask you to list them out, but out of those sacks, were most of them on mistakes by the offensive line, or were there other missed assignments by other blockers? Or
I would say one of them was a missed assignment by a running back. I would say another one was Spencer probably needing or running before he needed to, and beyond that, I would say most of them were the offensive line.
Shane, Dave again. Go ahead, Alan.
A touchdown play in the first quarter where you had 13 on the field out of the timeout. Did you remember anything that happened on that sequence specifically with getting the right personnel in?
Yeah, it was just getting personnel. We were trying to match their personnel, what they had in the game, and they were going to a big set to try and get bigger people in there, and then they were going back and forth, and we were trying to get our personnel in the game, and we were trying to go from goal line to nickel. And then you compound that with a true freshman that was in the game, and just we got to do a better job. That's on us as coaches that we have to do a better job and help our players in that situation.
Shane, Dave again. Marion Brown also left the game early last night, and I don't believe Marquis Anderson traveled, even though he was a backup on the depth chart. What's their status?
Yeah, Marquis had a little bit of a setback late in the week that prevented him from. He was going to travel, was going to be the backup. Had a little bit of an injury in practice. I'd say Marquis is questionable for this week, and Marion, I would say, is probable.